Welcome to AFI Fest 2020 presented by Audi. I'm Eric Moore, a member of the programming team here at the festival. First, I want to thank our festival supporters, our presenting sponsor, Audi, our AFI members, and of course, you, our audience. Thank you so much for being here. We're here today with the filmmakers of our Shorts 2 program. These films have been selected out of almost 3,000 films. They're really the best of the best. We have a really amazing international crew here today, and it's just exciting to be able to introduce you to them. So let's do that. From the film In Sudden Darkness, we've got Tayler. You want to wave, Tayler?
Hi.
From Umbilical, we've got Danski. From Heading South, we've got Yuan. From The Visit, we've got Azadeh.
Hi.
From NOUR, we've got Reem.
Hi.
And from DUSTIN, we've got Naïla.
Hi.
So, and we also are joined today by 2 translators. So Frederick and Reza, if you guys want to just give a little wave.
Hello. Bonjour.
Thank you so much for joining us. Let me just start by saying that I love this program so much. Your films all have so much going on in them, and their tones are rather quiet still, even though there's so much action and kind of, you know, material that's happening within them. And it creates a real sense of the characters and the subjects that are in them, and it really kind of pulls you in. So my question for you is, what made you choose to tell the story of your film? Why this film? So let's start with you, Tayler.
Hi, well, to start, my name is Tayler Montague. I'm the writer and director of In Sudden Darkness. And I believe that what made me want to tell this film was kind of a period of reflection for me. I had just kind of had a major milestone. I graduated college last year. And after graduating, I was trying to figure out kind of what my next steps would be. And I had long had an interest in filmmaking and potentially making films. So kind of digging through what that would look like, what stories I could tell, I started thinking back on like my childhood and things like that. And I was like, you know, the blackout of 2003 was a really formative moment. And it's a good kind of backdrop to these bigger themes that I wanted to explore, like family and love and care. So that's kind of like the genesis of the project.
Cool. And where are you joining us from?
In New York. So I'm actually in Mount Vernon, New York specifically. Shout out to Money Earned in Mount Vernon. Yeah.
There you go. Well, thank you for joining us. All right, Danski.
Hi, I'm Danski. I'm the director of Umbilical, and I'm in LA right now. So making that film, actually, because that was a time when I lived in America for the 3rd year, and then because I was so far away from home, it makes me think of my past and a certain period of the time in my life, and I also reflect a lot on it and thinking what happened at that time. And it was the time that I feel like the film have to be made for me to seek out an answer. Yeah.
So my film, Heading South, is actually based on a real experience when I was 5, I think, even younger than the girl in my film. So my memory is kind of blurred. I only remember pictures, colors. So I learned how to develop this script based on those pieces in my writing class in NYU. And at that time, we had to make a short film for the program. Then I decided to do this one, the relationship with my father. And the story is based in Mongolia, the border between China and Mongolia. So I feel really connected for the people suffering from the globalization, urbanization there. That's why I set up my story there. Before I come to New York, I worked as assistant director in Mongolia for a Mongolian director. That's how I get to know the people and the culture there. So when I'm sure the story could happen in the city there, I decided to shoot the film there. Yeah, my goal is to shoot a personal film to discuss the struggle people are facing in the urbanization backdrop.
All right, so
as the other, hi again, everyone. As the others were speaking, I just, we did the translation thing. Well, first of all, I gotta say, we are in Iran, Tehran. And the movie has been inspired by Azadeh's childhood and when she was 5 and 6 and her father was in prison because he was a journalist, and due to some activities he was in prison, and her and her mom were trying to visit her father, and but as you have already witnessed in the movie, they were, the atmosphere was pretty depressing and disappointing. And when they were trying to enter, and they had prepared a photo because her father hadn't seen them for a long time, due to some prohibitions, they just cut out her mom's photo from the thing, and they just allowed Azadeh's photo to be transferred to her dad. And she actually wanted to transfer this feeling of a prisoner's family, and how they feel, how disappointing it might be, or what kind of a trauma they might be facing when they can't, they're not allowed to visit their loved ones.
Hi, I am Rim, and et je suis la réalisatrice du film NOUR.
My name is Rim, and I'm in Tunis. I wanted to make this film to talk about the theme of absence. The film is a portrait of a city. It's the portrait of a journey of two adolescents that go on a quest to find their father who is absent. And so that was the motivation for the story and the film.
Du coup, je suis Naïla Guiguet, j'ai réalisé DUSTIN.
Naïla Guiguet, originally from Paris, but is currently in San Sebastian, presenting the film there. And wanted to make this film to show a different face, a different community, which is the queer and LGBT community. And the film began, the inception of the film began from a conversation that I had with the lead actor in the film, Dustin, and she and I had this conversation, and it turned into the film.
That's a great segue into my next question. So all of your films are so strong, and the characters in them, whether they're, real people or whether they're, actors playing people, they have such a good, they're just very visceral. We know who they are. We know those types of people. They're incredible. And I'm curious for you, if you could talk a little bit about what made you choose your actors. So how did you do the casting? And then for Danski, why did you choose to do the voice yourself as opposed to hire an actor? So we'll start again with Tayler.
Yeah, the casting process of this film was so interesting. When putting this family together, I had some people in mind already in the very beginning when I was writing it as well. One of them being Marcus Callender, who plays Jerome, which is the father in this particular film. I had saw him in a Broadway play because I love actors. So I love plays. I love, watching films and being like, who's that? And that's precisely what happened when I saw him in Fabulation, in which he just, played these characters with so much versatility. He played more than one character, all Black men from New York. And I was like, okay, I logged that in kind of my brain as someone to potentially work with. So when I had this project a few months later, I kind of reached out to him through Instagram DM, and we got coffee, and he came on board to do the project, which made me really, really happy and grateful. Raven Goodwin was a dream. The fact that she's in this film to this day, I'm always pinching myself because she is the first person that came to mind. She was always Erica to me. And she's a very established actress. I grew up watching her on television, Jess Jordan, Everybody Hates Chris, and then kind of seeing her in Being Mary Jane, in which she plays a mom. So I knew she could kind of lend this nuance to Black motherhood, which was really important to me in this portrayal. So we reached out to her, and she came on about a week before we were meant to shoot. So it just felt like the perfect, storm, everyone coming together. And then Sienna Elise Rivers, who plays Tati, I saw her on a child's agency, and I reached out to her, and she came in an audition, and she killed it. We knew almost immediately. that she was Tati. So yeah, casting, it was really interesting. And I think I like really lucked out that I got all my first choices and everyone I wanted to be in this film is in this film.
Thank you. Yeah, you can tell everybody is impeccable. So thank you.
Thank you.
Danski, do you want to talk a little bit about what made you choose to not hire an actor and to do your own voiceover?
Yes, so my practice is actually focusing on animated documentary. So I do a lot of animation, especially 2D animation in any any forms of 2D animation. So from that starting point, I have this idea of making a film about me and my mother. And so we record our conversation thinking that because she had this abusive relationship with my father and I had this really strange period of childhood in a boarding school. So I wanted to combine two stories together, but I didn't know how. And it turns out a better way to do it is just we talk about it. And then I really enjoy making animation as a visual and having the conversation as the content, because it can create this big space in between for the audience to put themselves in it and to think about what it is. Yes, that's why I don't really have, it's not a live action, it's an animation. Yeah.
But yeah, your voice, because it's your story, brings an authenticity to it that is very powerful. So thank you. Yuan, do you want to talk about the casting for your film?
Yeah, I guess if you watch the film, I have so many actors, especially in one scene, we have 6 speaking and drinking at the same time, which is a horrible experience for me as director. So the casting is really, we got really lucky because we don't have that much budget as student film. So we post mostly on internet in China and America to find actors who will be interested. And then one producer in New York post my casting call on his social media. And then we got this famous, used to be a very famous Chinese actress before she studied in Juilliard. So she is interested in our film and end up she plays the stepmother role. And I'm so glad that she would, she is not care about how the appearance that will be, because the character should be not as pretty as usually the role in other movies she may act before. And she, when they're alone with us, she never complained about the worst production quality our crew has. So we got really lucky with the stepmother role. For all the father's friend, all the uncle's role, there are, I think only one of them are actors. All the 3, the other 3 are my friends. One is a horse riding trainer. The other one is the assistant director I met before. But somehow I got lucky. All of them kind of familiar with the drinking atmosphere in the dinner scene. So everybody got high. I have to stop them sometime to like chill a little bit, because everybody is like jump into the mode pretty easily. And the most challenging part is for the lead actress, the girl. I need a girl who could ride a horse, who can act. And while casting for months, I found it's impossible to find a girl like this. So I end up taking a risk to cast a daughter of my friend who never acted before, but she could ride pretty well. She lives there in the grassland. She learned riding since she was a little girl. So I worried about how she could be relaxed in front of camera. I talked with acting teachers to give me some instructions. So I play games, communicate with her many times before shooting. So she trusts me before the shoot actually happened. So in the end, I think I got her performance. Yeah, I think I'm happy with all the acting in the end.
Wow, I can't believe she wasn't a professional actress. She's amazing.
No,
so
yeah,
that's great. Azadeh.
I try to speak English, and he helps me.
Yeah, I'll help in case, just in case.
Perfect.
In my film, I had a child character, and it was very deep, challenging for me. And a long time ago, I work in a kindergarten, and I like to work with children. And as you know, directing children is very different directing adults. Mm-hmm. And one night I went to a theater, and I saw her, a child came to the stage, and she sang a song and turned around, and suddenly I thought she's very good for my character. And I knew her father, and he is an actor, and he acted for me in my previous film, and I asked him, and I close to her, and I be friend to her, and we played a lot, and we had a lot of secret together. And then when we start shooting, she thought that this is another plane, you know, and I was shocked because she was very good, and I can manage her because she thought she's one of my close friends, you know. And after shooting, she told her mother, I just act to her film and nothing another film, you know, and it was good.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Reem.
Concernant donc les acteurs, j'ai fait un casting sauvage.
The casting process was the casting sauvage, is going out and finding people in the street, and Maud was found in front of the lycée, in front of her school. And for the younger child, it was done with an announcement, and a small casting was done in a school setting. And I picked this duo because they had a very nice and beautiful energy together, and we did camera tests together, and it just worked. We rehearsed a lot, and I love working with adolescent children actors. It worked out very well together.
Yeah, the two have great chemistry together, so very, very well casted. And Naïla.
Oui, alors moi du coup j'ai travaillé avec des comédiens qui étaient tous mes amis et qui n'étaient pas vraiment comédiens. J'avais fait un film déjà avant DUSTIN où j'avais travaillé avec des comédiens non professionnels, et c'est quelque chose que j'aime beaucoup.
I worked with actors who were not really actors. They were my friends. They hadn't really acted before DUSTIN. And we created like a bond, which is a group of friends. And that was DUSTIN, Ray, and Felix, who then later became professional. But before that, we knew each other, and we wanted to do something together. But first and foremost, we were friends, so that we had a sense of complicity already, and there wasn't a need to create this sort of fake friendship. The friendship was there, and so we decided that we wanted to do something a little bit more productive together than just getting together and party. And so the film happened.
Thank you. Yeah. So that also leads to my next question, actually, talking about kind of your community and the people that are around you. All of your films deal with, in some way, the idea of family, whether it's a biological family or like a chosen family, you know, your friends, those people in your lives that are important. Did making the film give you any new perspective on your familial relationships? How did you, I guess, like, what did you learn about yourself by making this film? And how did it impact kind of your relationships, if at all? kind of a big question. I'm just always curious about this. So Tayler, do you mind starting us off?
I'm like, yeah, that's such a like wonderful question and very much a big question. Maybe making my film was an affirmation about what I knew about my family, primarily because, you know, in a weird like art imitates life way, right? Like the family in this film comes together and the community in this building bands together in the midst of the blackout. And in real life, my family came together, my community came together to make sure I could get this film made. So, you know, we shot the film in my grandmother's apartment complex. And, you know, my mom and dad were bringing props to set. And my other grandma was picking me up at the end of the day and shuttling extras because my brother and his friends are extras in this film. So, yeah, it was very much a family kind of endeavor. And the way that they showed up and showed out for me meant so much to me and affirmed just kind of like, okay, yeah, it does make sense I'm making this film where family is such a strong theme because family in my life is everything. So yeah, I think that's kind of what this film kind of helped me realize about my own family.
So basically, I think it's amazing that at the end, when I finished the film, my mom visited me in LA, and that was the first time we watched the film together on the TV. And so the first thing she said when she heard her voice was that's my voice. But she's this teacher teaching in a middle school for 20 years in China and doesn't know doesn't really understand much about what I am doing with my film. And so I said, yes, that's your film. And then it's going to be heard by the world and thousands of people. And then I thought that was really amazing. And also we try to understand each other by talking, by facing each other, you know, like bring things to conversation and actually be open about it, and so that we can support each other. And also after my film was screened, there's so many people that I really didn't expect that where my film can be, but there's so many people come up to me and telling me that I really speak for them, which is pretty profound experience for me.
I had similar experience with Danski. I think working on the film is challenging because we're facing our own self, and as I mentioned, we're also dealing with the new characters. When I finished the script, I thought I had finished the hardest part, but it's not. When I came on set, when I see everyone dressed in costumes sitting at that table, I have this suddenly emotional attack came to me. I have to hide it in front of the crew. And at that moment, I really want to cry. But then as the rehearsal going on, I discussed the backstory with each character, what they were doing before the scene, what is the struggle in each of their lives. I get a better understanding of my parents, what they were doing, what they were thinking at the age of 30s. I think I get a new understanding, a new perspective while working on this movie. I haven't had the chance to show this film to my parents yet because I haven't had the chance to go back to China due to the pandemic. But I'm looking forward to it, and I have the courage right now to show them this film.
Yeah, that'll be a really amazing experience to be able to share it with your family. So hopefully that happens sooner than later. Next, Azadeh.
The effect of prison has always been in her life, but after she finished the production of this movie, she feels that this burden is off her back now. She feels kind of relieved, like she paid a tribute to the issues that she had recently, and now she can think about different issues more freely without being under the pressure of that effect. besides that, specifically after the Iran's revolution, a lot of people who were politically active journalists and, you know, in media and different places were sent into prison. So it is something like, you know, we basically can relate to. And some of the people in the prison were among her friends or relatives. So directly and indirectly, she has been in touch with the lives of these people.
It's definitely a world that we don't get to see very often. So thank you for sharing that. Reem, you want to talk about your experience?
En fait, le thème de la famille est très important pour moi.
So yes, family is very important to me in my work, and my first short film had the very same theme of family. What I learned about my own relationships in my life doing this film is the importance of forgiveness, the importance of trying to work your way towards forgiveness, even if it isn't easy. That became the personal journey for me in this film.
L'importance du pardon.
Je pense que ce que j'ai appris avec le film, c'est quelque chose que j'avais pas trop compris, même en écrivant le scénario et même après dans les étapes de post-production.
Something that I didn't understand when I was making the film or even in post-production just recently, that this film is about the passage out of adolescence into adulthood, and that Dustin met a sort of family that allowed him to become who she was herself, and then to take that out into the world. And so, and to become the person she was meant to be. And that's something that I personally met, sort of a community that allowed myself to also become myself. And so that really was the aspect of family in the film.
Oh, well, thank you all so much for spending your time with us. I really wish we had more time to talk. I have a million more questions. I'm sure you guys want to ask each other questions too. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. So first off, to our audience, I want to make sure you go and tell your friends and your families about the films that you saw today. They still have time to watch them through the end of the festival. So yeah, make sure that everybody can enjoy these as much as you did. We'd also love to hear from everybody on our social media. So that's easy. That's @ or #AFIFest. And feel free to join us, please, for more films and amazing events at fest.afi.com. And yeah, so thank you all so much. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.